I am so angry right now. Words cannot describe how upset these headphones make me right here. So, if you guys didn't know already, Five Below has recently started selling products for not just $5, but $10. And evidently, this has meant that they've been able to upgrade their audio game a lot. And one of said $10 products is these beauties right here. If we take a look at the box here, we've got the bass jacks, Bluetooth, soundproof wireless headphones with active noise canceling for $10. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never, ever in my life, anywhere, sold anywhere, seen a set of active noise canceling headphones for this cheap. Most of the ones I've seen have been around $30, $40 that you can get on Amazon. But these, oh no. Five Below said, we've got to make it cheaper. And so that's what they did. Now, I am someone who is very familiar with the Bass Jacks brand. I've owned many of their products over the years. It's one among many of Five Below's house brands. And they've all been kinda like this Bluetooth speaker here with a fake passive radiator. So when I saw these in the store, my expectations had already been set really low. I was thinking, how can these possibly have active noise canceling that even works at all? How can they possibly sound any good? Oh boy, was I wrong. So first off, let's start with the negatives of these $10 glorious pieces of equipment right here. They're built like crap. I gotta say that right away. For $10, they had to cut costs somewhere, and they are built terribly. Just listen to this. Built like a tank, man. The plastic is horrifyingly cheap. I mean, just look at those scuff marks it came with. Like you heard, they rattle. And overall, the build just doesn't instill any confidence that they're gonna last any significant amount of time. Another negative to point out is that they used micro USB for the charging port. However, I wasn't really expecting to have USB-C on a set of $10 headphones anyway, so I can live with that. And they even come with a little short, crappy micro USB cable. Another small negative is that there's no 3.5mm input on these, so you have to use them Bluetooth. But the upside of that is the Bluetooth quality is actually not that bad. The box says they have Bluetooth 5.0, and whether that's actually true or not, I'm not too sure, but the quality is more than enough for most listening applications and is better than any other Bluetooth product I've gotten from Five Below so far. Back to some positives though, the controls are very easy to use and relatively tactile. The ANC switch is a hard cut on and off switch. The headphones do not need to be on for this to work. Speaking of the active noise canceling, while it's nothing to write home about, it actually does something. It takes out a lot of those low, mid-range frequencies from maybe about 100 hertz or so all the way up to 1000 hertz. The material used for the pads is actually not the worst I've seen. It feels akin to the quality of like Audio-Technica stock pads, something like that. And while they're not made of memory foam, it is reasonably plush, and the headband actually has a decent amount of padding up top. And speaking of comfort, they're actually not that bad. The clamp is relatively light on these. And while these pads are relatively small and your ear does sit inside on this foam right here, there is actually a soft layer of like 3mm thick foam in there. And so it feels like wearing something along the lines of a set of Cos Porta Pros, but actually a little bit more comfortable because the clamp is less. Now, another positive is actually the microphone that's used for Bluetooth calling. It's nothing to write home about, but people will understand what you're saying. So here's a little demo of that.
Check 1, 2. This is an audio test of the microphone in the Bass Jacks soundproof active noise canceling headphones.
So yeah, let's move on now to the sound quality. This is the big one. So when I first put these on, I was not expecting anything, like I've said. I thought these were gonna sound terrible. No highs, no lows, super tinny, peaky, all that fun stuff. But then I played some music, and I was blown away. For $10, these have no right to sound this good. So here's the thing. When you turn on that active noise canceling switch, the sound changes. Yes, that's right. These things have actual digital signal processing in them. Without this switch on, there's practically no bass at all, but once you throw that thing on, they've got an elevated bass response. I was mainly impressed with the mids and the highs on these. They have a high frequency response that I would even classify as revealing. It's hyped up for sure. It's not flat by any means. Don't get me wrong. But the high frequency response of these rivals headphones from way more reputable brands for way more money. The high frequency response on these things is so revealing, in fact, that it makes it easy to hear even the littlest of artifacting with Bluetooth audio. And that mid-range, while it's recessed in some lower mid areas, is actually decently accurate. The low end is where things get a little bit interesting, and I think this might have to do with the active noise canceling microphones that are inside it. But some notes below about 70 or 60 hertz will sound completely imbalanced, like almost as if they're playing out of phase in both ears. It sounds like it's too wide for some reason. Now that could also be because these are just cheap drivers in here and they might need some break-in period to sound their best, but everything above that is perfectly centered. These things also have relatively decent imaging and somewhat of a soundstage. It's not that crazy open or anything. They are closed after all. That aside, how do these sound this good? These are fun to listen to. Yes, they have that hyped bass and treble sound, but it makes listening to music so freaking fun. So yeah, I want you guys to be able to hear these things for yourself. So I've put together a little sound demo comparing them to my Audio-Technica M40Xs. I know, comparing them to a reference studio headphone, it's crazy, but I have to do it, just to show you how good these are. I'm using two Rode M5 microphones stuck in a cardboard box. It's super scuffed and it made it really hard to get a centered image in the low end on both sets of headphones. But regardless, it should show more than well enough the difference between the two headphones. I've also applied some corrective EQ on the microphones as well to hopefully provide as truthful of a sound recording as possible. Obviously, like I said, it's not going to be anywhere near perfect. This is super scuffed and there's some issues here and there with the imaging, but regardless, here is the sound demo of these things versus the Audio-Technica M40Xs. So yeah, are you as blown away as me? I hope so. Are they the flattest things in the world? No. Are they as flat as the M40Xs? No, of course not. But man, do they sound good. I just don't get it. These things have no right to sound this good. I don't know if they hired someone to do a tuning on these. Probably not though, because even with the DSP off, the drivers actually still sound pretty good aside from the complete lack of bass response. So I don't know. These things are a complete freaking mystery to me. I don't get it. But man, are these a good last minute stocking stuffer for Christmas. Holy shit.
So yeah, I filmed this video a while ago. Sorry about that.
In fact, I recommend each and every one of you to go out and buy these just to see for yourself how good these are for the price. It's stupid. It makes no sense whatsoever, and it's made me unbelievably angry that they've set such a low bar with every product beforehand, and then they just completely shatter it with these things. So yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell, but these things have me simultaneously blown away and utterly amazed, and also so f***ing angry at the same time. So yeah, that's the video, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever. I'll see you in the next one.